So, hello everyone. Thank you for joining me on my podcast channel. This time, my guest is Vinney Tolman. Hello, Vinnie. Great to have you on the show.
It's great to be here, Anthony. It's always great to see you, man. Great to see you.
For those who don't know, I already interviewed Vinnie for my documentary Renaissance. You can find it on my YouTube channel. So, just a short presentation about you, Vinny. You had various jobs before your near death experience. You worked as a home builder, computer technician. You also worked for TV and the film industry, right?
Yes.
And then you had your near death experience, as I said, in 2003. It completely changed your life and the vision of who we are and what happens when we cross over to the other side. And now you do personal spirit guidance for people to help them in many different areas of their lives. So we won't talk a lot about your NDE since you already did so many great interviews, including, as I said in my documentary. But for people who may not know you, can you briefly explain what happened to you in 2003 and how did it change your life, basically?
Well, I was found dead and declared dead in a Dairy Queen bathroom in 2003, and nobody wants to think that that's ever going to happen to them, but that's what happened to me, and that's where it all started for me. Is they went to go take my body and turn it into the medical examiner, and when they were on their way, a medic, a brand new medic, he felt something different and he broke protocol, which got him in a lot of trouble. But he broke that protocol and he attempted resuscitation and he was able to get the heart to start back up again. I was still brain dead for 3 days, but one of the many miracles of what I think happened is the fact that this rookie medic, he broke protocol, essentially putting his whole job on the line, the job that he'd worked so hard for, and did it because he felt a kind of a gut instinct that something wasn't all the way gone there. Yeah.
Okay, great. And for the usual critics about, well, you didn't die because you're still here, obviously, so it's not you didn't cross over and so on. Can you explain that you were clinically dead?
Yeah. So from the time they found me, I was cold to the touch. They pronounced the body dead. They put the body in a body bag, and it was 47 minutes later that the body was revived. So documented 47 minutes. So from the time declared death until the heart starts is exactly 47 minutes.
And during this near death experience, you did encounter your spiritual guide. Can you
Yes.
talk about it?
Yeah, so I ended up having a guide the entire time that I was on the other side, which was for the 3 days. The 3 days I was in the coma, I was on the other side. And come to find out, this guide of mine, I didn't find out till 6 months after I was back that he is my great 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 grandfather. Yeah. And he still works with me today, every day. Yeah.
You're still able to communicate with him, like you're hearing him in your head, a voice, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like learning how to hear a radio station and you tune yourself into it, or maybe learning how to program your phone to get to a certain frequency. It once it's happening once, it's very easy to go back and reconnect in that.
So people will say you're very lucky because now you have your own GPS, and because including myself, we all want to have someone guiding us all the time. Or maybe we do have someone guiding us all the time.
We
That's the
do.
point.
And I was working with someone yesterday that she believed that she didn't have any intuition. And a quick example that came to her, Spirit was able to show her that she's had intuition her whole life. She just never counted it as intuition. She thought it was kind of just a knowing. And we all have intuition, all of us. And we all have guides, every single one of us. We have guides that come from our ancestors. We have guides that come from our creator, and they're around us all the time.
And about your NDE, you said many times that when you came back, you didn't want to come back. Can you elaborate on that? Like, why? Because I think you still had a family and friends and everything.
Yeah, I didn't want to be back here because here is so much harder than there. You know, our experience over there is truly magical. It's mystical, it's full of love, it's full of a love that we're not allowed to even know about here. And that love is so powerful that we have to forget it for us to come here. Because if we could remember it, we would, you know, we would do whatever we need to do to get ourselves back there. And, you know, I didn't want to come back. I'm glad that I did, though. I'm very glad that I did because I ended up meeting the love of my life and having two amazing kids that I wouldn't have had if I didn't come back. So I am grateful I came back, but man, it was rough. It was so rough, especially that first 6 months. That was very, very rough. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I can understand because it's a comment I very often have on my YouTube channel about people saying, "Well, if everything is so nice on the other side, as you say, people who have an NDE say, why are we even here?" You know.
It's because over on the other side, because it is so nice, we don't get the chance to find out who we are. We think we know who we are, but we know that the best way to find out who we really are is to even forget who we are and see what we do. And that's when we find out who we really are. Yeah. That's what we're doing here. We had things perfectly. Everything was fine before we came here. We chose to come here as like a workout or an
Mm.
ability to see what we can do. Because it's just like children today. If they stay in home and they never leave, they never find out the adult that they could be. But if they leave home, they find out who they really are. And that's what we all do. We leave home to find out who we really are.
Yes, that makes sense. And I think people can feel even in your voice and in your eyes that you have this part of the other side in you now. It's
Hmm.
at least I can feel it. And in your book, you say that you came back to share this with other people. You have to share this love with us, right? It's
Yeah,
so it's out of love that you want to be here too.
100%. I want to be here to help us remember who we really are, number one. And then number two, to help us love each other the way that we love each other there. And if we can do that here, we will watch a heaven form around us here. We will watch this life turn into heaven. Yeah.
And then what about people who say like the NDE thing, the white light and everything is just a trap basically, you know. You've been trapped to come back here because here it's a jail and you see the white light and it's just to make you come back, you know. That's
Yeah.
the theory.
The I understand the theory and I understand where it comes from. But when you're on the other side and you're feeling that love, you know with every bit of your being, you know for a fact that that love is for you, not to disguise you, not to entrap you, but it's for you. The way that heaven looks at us, they look at us like a divine masterwork, something that the whole universe works together to work on. And when we're on the other side, we get to feel that love. And that love, until you felt it, you cannot understand it. And, in this world, in the earthly world,
Mm.
can we be deceived? Yes, we can be deceived easily here. But over there, when you feel that love is so powerful, you cannot be deceived in it. And it's kind of like the love that we have for our children on earth. You ask a parent, do you love your child? And they say yes. Then you ask them, are you sure? Are you sure you're not being deceived?
Yeah.
And that's such a silly question because of course they're not being deceived, but yet at the same time, they love that child beyond anyone else in this world. And that's the power of it there is I empathize to the people that believe that life here is a trap, but I know for a fact, and this has been proven through physics, that what you believe, you will perceive and achieve. So if you believe that this world is a trap, even if you're on the other side in the heavenly realm, you will have to either shed that or you'll be stuck in that loop, believing that it's some kind of trap and you're trying to run from it.
Yes, that's also what I think. That's why I'm doing a YouTube channel about NDEs also, because I believe in it, obviously.
Yeah.
But yes, it's a strange comment, let's say. And what about the relationship you have with this material world, and especially with money and everything like that? Like, is it like you want to run away from money, saying we want to be pure and only follow God, and money is no good, no good, evil, and
Well, money is just energy, and there's no difference between money and rocks and grass and wood. It's all just energy. And we can have bad relationships with energy, we can have good relationships with energy. But, in a perfect space, we don't need to use as much energy. We don't need to. So there is this perfect space where we're not using as much money, we're not using as much energy consumption. We are more producers of energy and less consumers of energy. And that future is coming. It's coming on Earth, and it's something that's really exciting. And as it approaches, we will see it. We will see us transitioning from a society that consumes so much energy into a society that produces energy. Yeah.
can you talk about the what you saw about the future on the other side, about what is about to come? And again, you had this experience in 2003, but can you
Yes.
talk about what you saw coming for us?
So back in 2003, when they wanted to put me back in my body, they had to find my time. They had to bring me to my time. And in doing that, I could easily see what was coming in the near future. And, some of it was beautiful, some of it was a little scary, but I could see that all of it that happens, it's for our betterment. It actually makes us better as beings. And, one of the big things that I saw is that the world itself looks different.
Mm.
Like the United States looks different, Europe looks different, Asia looks different. Like there's massive changes that are going to be happening. And on top of that, we start living differently. We shift away from the old societies where we are only focused
Mm.
on consuming, and so in doing that, I saw that we have a really amazing future ahead of us.
And you also talk about the great migration of soul. It was very
Hmm.
important for me when I did the editing of your interview for the documentary. What is the great migration of soul that is about to happen?
So the Earth is already on its path to a higher vibrational space. The Earth is going there with or without us. And some of us are going to stay with the Earth and go with her into that higher vibration. Some of us are not meant to go. We have elected to leave. And so we'll leave in many different ways. Strokes and heart attacks are going to be the number one way that many will leave. And we'll see it as if some kind of wave of energy hits the earth, and now there's a lot of people passing very quickly. But it's a passing of peace. It's not a passing of like suffering at all. And the people that pass, part of their soul contract is to get on the other side and get completed in their heaven realm, and then come back and help us.
Mm.
So they come back and help the souls that do survive. Yeah.
And also a question people ask a lot about you is: are you now a psychic medium? Can you communicate with my dead grandfather, basically, and get messages from us? Or
So, something that's really neat is we all have the gift of mediumship, all of us, and we can turn it on stronger. We can turn it off if we want to. and there's ways to learn how to embrace your own mediumship, but we are meant to connect with the spirit realm. We are meant for it. And in fact, most of us as children, we were doing it. That's why so many children have, imaginary friends. They're not imaginary. They're spirits, they're souls, they're ancestors, they're guides, they're guardians. And so we do come here with that gift, and slowly we turn it off because we're afraid of what the world is going to believe of us. And we can turn that back on. And one of the easiest ways is to go in and love the child inside you. And that helps turn it on faster than anything. Yeah.
And how can we learn to listen to the answers we have when I ask a question about what am I supposed to do here and here? How can we listen? Yeah, you get my question. How
Yeah.
can we get the answer?
So one of the neat things about life here is when we ask a question and instantly an answer pops into our mind. Most of the time, that answer is intuition. But one way that we can test the answer to see if it was intuition is we can close our eyes and we can say in our mind the thing that we perceived.
Mm.
And when it's intuition, we will physically feel it in our body in the heart space or higher. But when it was not intuition and it was something else, could be a thought, could be some other energy around, we will feel it in the solar plexus or lower, which is like the sternum or lower. Yeah.
But what if intuition doesn't make sense when we receive it? Because very often it doesn't make sense. At least for me, it's you don't know what to do with the answer. It's like it doesn't make any sense. It's too scary. It's too risky, and so on.
Well, we have to realize that spirit works with us in fun ways. And sometimes what spirit wants us to do is to aim towards something and fail and end up right where we're supposed to be. So they give us through intuition this grand, lofty path or goal, and they know that we will aim for it and miss. But where we were supposed to be is exactly where we are. So even if it seems just outrageous and like, no way, I can never do this, shoot for it, shoot your shot. And as you miss, that's where you're supposed to be. But again, I always would check any thought that comes into your mind, because we are not the creators of our thoughts. We are the observer of our thoughts. If you go,
Yes.
and this has been proven in scientific studies, you can take an average person and put them in an environment that has a lot of negative energy. They will start having negative thoughts by osmosis,
Mm.
right? That means that they are not the creator of the thoughts. They are the perceiver of the thoughts. They are the one who is hearing the thoughts. And our intuition works in that same space where good thoughts come and sometimes bad thoughts. So it's important that when we think something is intuition, we check it. We check it against our body. And when it is intuition, it shows up in the higher part of our body. It just does. And it's a weird feeling
Mm.
when you ask a question about something you perceive and you feel it land in your heart, or you feel it land above your head. It doesn't make sense, but it's one of the ways you can tell that something is intuition, is it's coming from a higher vibration than you. And that's how you know it's intuition. And just a thought coming into your head, if you're feeling it below your sternum, that means that it's just a thought that you perceived, that you picked up from somewhere, almost like a radio station. Yeah.
Yeah, it often happens for me. I have to say, when I'm around people, when I'm, as you said, in certain places, I get anxiety coming to me very strongly, and then
Hmm.
I think it's not me. I'm not used to this.
Yeah, and what's really neat is when you have that happen, if you take one deep breath and say in your own mind, this is not mine, it allows your consciousness to let go of that thought. Yeah.
And what about signs and synchronicities? Do you? I guess you believe in them, but
Yes. I'm a firm believer. I believe in them so much because I've watched over 23 years. You know, it was 23 years ago that I died. And over those 23 years, I have watched more than 100,000 signs, synchronicities, symbols. Heaven wants to speak to us. They can speak to us through nature, through insects,
Yes.
through animals, through numbers, through license plates, through what time you look at the clock every day. If you keep looking at the clock every day at the same time, that's a message. Go look into the message. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to say this is how I choose my guests sometimes, and this is why I ended up doing this YouTube channel in English too. It's because I had so many signs and synchronicities in front of me since I was quite young, I have to say. And some things are have to happen, it seems, and something I try, and it doesn't work. But
Yeah.
it's a good idea, it doesn't work. So it's like I have someone or something guiding me along the way.
Yeah, you have really good guides. Um, you pick really great guests. Not and this was before me. You pick really great guests for your show. The quality of the people that you work with in your work is absolutely premium. It just is. And you know, being someone who I go to the IONS conference, I know a lot of the experiencers. You really do a cream of the crop. It's a beautiful thing.
Well, that's very nice to hear. Thank you. And I'm very sorry for the guest. If I don't have the time to interview, I would like to interview more people.
Yeah.
And also, that's why I'm doing this podcast and not just my regular interviews because it takes me so much time. I do my best, let's say. And about you, yesterday I was preparing your interview and it was very strange. I had someone in front of me that looked exactly like you,
Oh,
almost
really?
exactly.
That's
It was
awesome.
very strange. Yes. And then I was watching TV just after that, and the guy appeared very briefly in the news, and it was you, like all, even more like you. It
Wow.
was so strange, and I had a lot of. Would take too long to explain all the signs I had about you, but it's really like, how do you do that? I ask heaven. I don't hear back the answers. I don't have the ability to hear them, but I would be very curious to ask them, to interview them one day. Interview heaven. An interview with heaven or with God, maybe.
Well, what was really cool is when I first decided I was going to go really public with my experience. I asked for a symbol of who I should be working with. And right away, before I even went and watched any near death experiences, I heard the word Shane.
Okay,
And what's really neat is it was like 3 months later, I heard someone French say Anthony Shane.
really?
And that was the first time that, that's what's really funny. Even spirit will get the accent correct. And as soon as I heard that name, I stopped what I was doing and I said, "Who is that man? Who's Anthony Shane?" And that's how we connected. One thing to know for sure, Anthony, is the Americans don't hold some type of like perfection over our English because we're horrible at our own language. So you're good, man. Because the world doesn't love Anthony Shane for being perfect. We love that his work looks perfect. His work sounds perfect, but it sounds perfect because it's perfectly authentic. That's why you in the industry are this whale of a brand. You are. And
Okay.
and everybody that's an experiencer, they want to know you. They do.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
100%. I did notice on mine that you did, well, at least on Renaissance, right after I was speaking, you go to a B roll. And here's the crazy thing, it's from Las Vegas and you can see my house in it. And I'm like,
Really?
I'm like, how did he know that that's my house in there?
I didn't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
I have
no.
no idea until now.
But that's just another symptom or symbol that you're guided. You're guided. Because how many years earlier did you film that B-roll in Las Vegas?
Yeah, you'll have to send me the actual B-roll because I've used a few with Las Vegas, but yeah, it was a great place for me to visit. Not Las Vegas, but around Red
Yeah,
Rock
all around
Canyons
there. Yep.
and even the very remote small towns like I won't pronounce it right, but Topanga. Uh,
Tonopah. Yeah, Tonopah.
yeah, this one.
Yeah,
Very remote areas, and I can just take a road where there is nothing, and I feel it's full of something. You know,
yeah,
I don't need anything else. It's very
yeah.
strange.
Well, it's really neat that you're picking up on the art of life, that there is just a beauty of life everywhere you go. And it's because you have the gift of capturing that beauty. You happen to choose, near death experiences for most of it, but it doesn't change the fact that you capture the beauty in life. And sometimes there's something absolutely stunning about a desert and an old town that's abandoned, and
Yes,
and the people that are still living there. It's just, to me, it's kind of like a concert, a concert that is winding down, right? And there's almost like a beauty in it. Even though people aren't moving there anymore, it's also like certain places in Spain. There's certain places where we're watching the death of that space. But what's beautiful is what is the regrowth? What is nature's way of bringing life back to that space?
yes, that's exactly what I'm feeling with these places. I didn't think I would talk about the desert for this podcast, but
Yeah.
yes, it's a very important thing for me. You used to live in Las Vegas, right?
Yeah, we lived in Nevada for 22 years, and for most of it was Las Vegas. Yeah. Yeah, we loved Las Vegas, and we actually wanted to stay there, but Spirit, just like you were saying, Spirit says some crazy things sometimes. And Spirit said, "Move out to Georgia where you have no friends, you have no family, and just go." And so we did.
Really?
We moved out to Georgia. Yeah.
But I can understand that it's hard for people, especially when you're very, I guess, rich and powerful. It's hard to surrender to this.
Yeah.
Maybe because of the ego or the pride. It's like I want to be in control of my life and not to listen to an inner guidance that I don't understand.
Well, I've been told by Spirit many times that if I listen to them, I have a long journey here. But if I stop listening to them, I go back to the original plan of my death. And so for me, I want to be around for my kids, but I'm also not afraid of death at all. So I do want to follow Spirit. I want to be here as long as I'm contracted to be with my soul plan. And I don't want to mess that up, but I will follow Spirit. Even to the even to the mountains, the Blue Ridge Mountains, even though we have no friends or family there at all. Yeah.
And do you sometimes wonder why you had to go there, or you just you have faith and you?
I know why. One of the things I saw when I died and was coming back is I saw in the future there's a lot of these cities of light. They're like smaller communities. They don't get very big, and they start out as these little communities and they grow, but they're communities based on supporting each other, showing up for each other, healing each other, teaching each other, and like ministering to each other. And it's a true community, but it's not focused on consumption or spending or banking, not at all. And in fact, the community feels very unison of what maybe the Essenes used to live as, or how they lived in Qumran. But in this community, I saw a very specific area of the Blue Ridge Mountains, and I saw that there's one of these communities there. I've always thought, well, that would be fun. Someone will build it, and I'll go live there. And it looks like I'm going to be helping build it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's you have a very great gift of showing up in faith, basically.
Yeah. It's hard though. It's really hard on my human. It is hard on my human. My human doesn't want to play along sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I know for myself that I very often I don't want to play along. It's
Yeah.
I cannot tell you how many times I made the decision to stop this English channel. It's
Hmm.
like okay, I'm done. It doesn't make any sense. Go find someone else. But then you just have to do it. So also there is a question that a lot of people have is what do we look like on the other side? Are we just pure consciousness, or do we still have an energetic body?
We do. We have an energetic body, and after we leave our physical body, our energetic body looks very close to these physical bodies, and it's almost like we were living inside the body for so long. We took on the image, but it doesn't mean that we stay that way. One thing I saw is when people are on the other side, as they heal from earth life, because earth life is pretty rough on us. We go through some healing process so that we can be ready for heaven.
Mhm.
And by the time they made it through the healing process, they were young. They didn't look the age that they were when they died. But yet, when they go and pick up an ancestor, go and pick up their child here, yeah, their adult child, so that their adult child can cross, they will turn back into their older self
Mm.
just so that their child recognizes them, and then they're back to their youthful self. So yes, we definitely have an energetic body. It changes with our thoughts though. So we can change how we appear just with our conscious thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah, I know for myself that they often appear in dreams. Like my grandfather appeared in dreams many times, and he looked younger and
Yeah.
more fit, more clear in his head. Do you think they can guide us here too?
100%. Yeah. In fact, when you were talking about your grandfather, he literally was like standing behind you while you were talking about him.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I often hear him. Even before I discovered all these topics, because I discovered the NDE thing and everything when I was 28 or something like that. But before that, he was already dead. But
Hmm.
when I had to make my transition between a business school and corporate finance, and I said, no, I won't do that, and making videos, it was very hard for me. I was
Yeah.
hearing my thoughts, but with his voice for like 6 or 8 months, I remember. It was
Yeah.
exactly the way he was talking, but giving me thoughts like, oh, do this, you should do exactly the way he was talking to me.
Yeah.
And later, when I found these topics, I realized that, oh, it was really him guiding
Yeah.
me
It
all
was
along.
him. Yeah. Even guiding you on things that he wouldn't have known about while he was alive. He's guiding you because it's your destiny. It is. It is. All you have to do is watch one Anthony Shane video, and it's your destiny, man. It is. It's your destiny.
It's very kind. And so now, can you talk about you shifted your career after your near death experience, right? And
Yes.
now
Yeah.
you do personal spirit guidance. Can you talk about it? And what are usually the main questions and problems people have when they come to you?
I did. Quite a few years ago, I shifted out of a very successful career, and Spirit was telling me for a long time it was time to quit my job and start coaching people. I was already coaching people for a few years, but I was doing it on my personal time, on my evenings, my weekends, and yeah, I listened. It was scary, and it's still scary sometimes, but it's what I'm supposed to do. I know unequivocally it's what I'm supposed to do. So I help people get transformation in their life. If someone is having a hard time achieving goals, I help them achieve those goals. Or maybe they have a hard time in certain relationships, and it's really an enjoyable field. It's absolutely amazing. I've watched people come in with disorders and diseases in their body, and
Mm.
they cure themselves with working together. And I don't lay claim to any of that. It's them. They cure themselves. I help guide them, but they cure themselves. And I've watched so many miracles now that I would have to be insane to think that I was supposed to be doing anything else. And, something I love is watching a family heal, even though all the signs said that they would never heal. And it happens over time with the right energy and the right
Mm.
work. But it's also loving each other and whether the healing is happening or not. And it's a beautiful thing to witness. It's not, it doesn't happen in every situation, but one of the number one situations I get is someone coming to me saying, number one, do I have guides? And yes, they do. And if I have guides, what's their names? And our spirit teams, they don't care about names. They don't. Because when you're on the other side, you call for the distinct energy of a soul. You don't call them by their name.
Mm.
And names are something for here. So spirit has said more than 1,000 times now, call me what you want. Call me, grandfather, call me uncle, call me, with my guide, my great, great, great grandfather, he gave me the option to call him whatever I wanted. And it's just important to know that they're there. And that's the first step is accepting that they are there and then begin building that relationship with them. Yeah.
Yes, it's what you say is learning to ask and acknowledge that they are here for us, basically.
Yes.
Otherwise,
Mhm.
we are blocking the energy.
Yeah. Blocking it completely. Yeah. I've worked with someone that just this last week that has had MS. They've had it for 26 years, and she has been in a wheelchair for 11 of those years. We did some work and we found that the MS started because of some emotions that she didn't know what to do with as a child. And I wasn't going after the MS, I was going after healing the child, like healing her inner child. And as we did that, we both could feel that her MS was gone by the end of the session. And, the follow up will tell, there is going to be a follow up so that we can see that she gets a clear bill of health. But I've watched tumors the size of cantaloupes become nothing in a matter of an hour or an hour and a half. And it's because the body holds on to emotions. And if
Mm.
if we have something very hard happen around us, our body gives us 1 year to deal with those emotions. If we don't deal with them, the body stores those emotions, and later that becomes dis-ease or it becomes cancer, which, cancer in ancient Greek means emotion.
Yeah, so you witness miracles
All the
very
time.
often.
All the time. I'd say weekly, easily weekly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it gives a great sense of humility as human beings. Like we have to acknowledge that something more is there, even if we
Yes.
don't see it.
Yeah, there's quite a few cases now I've found because of the people I've worked with. I've found many cases of miracles all over the world. In fact, there's a movie called A Case for Miracles. I mean, there's even a show on Angel Studios called Miracles. And so these miracles are happening all over. But if we don't go look for them, we may never see them. But I fully believe go look for those miracles. And then if you need a miracle, it allows you to build a bridge in your mind of how your miracle can happen. Yeah.
Okay, and as a maybe as a conclusion, a lot of people seem very depressed these days.
Mhm.
So, what advice would you give to people who don't have any meaning in their life right now?
So the greatest advice I can give you is don't reach for your phone first thing in the morning. Don't look at your phone for an hour before bed. And people that say they are not addicted to their phones, I don't believe them because everyone is. Everyone is.
Yes.
And if you can put down your phone and not touch it for the first 30 minutes to the first hour of your day, you will watch yourself completely shift your biorhythms. You'll watch yourself wake up wanting to be awake. You'll watch yourself wake up thinking, oh, I want to get these things done today, but feeling very positive about your day. But just like children, if we are putting phones on us right as soon as we wake up, it overstimulates us and it makes us feel like the real world doesn't stimulate us. And the real
Yes.
world is scary and sad and mean and angry and evil. And yes, that all those things are true, but it's also not true because we get to build the reality that we choose. And if we choose for the world to be full of evil, it will be. But if we choose to find miracles today, we can find miracles today. But the difference is we see what we choose. So choose to see beautiful things, and beautiful things will happen. So put your phones down. Yeah, put your phones down. Best advice ever. hmm I was catching a flight the other day, and Spirit told me, don't pick up your phone when you get to the terminal. Leave your phone in your pocket and look for someone else who is also not looking at their phone. And
Mm.
I went to the terminal and I looked around at more than maybe 300, 400 people, and not one person was not staring at their phone. Every single person, including the children, the little children, all of them staring at their phones. And then I felt this presence behind me, and I turned around and there was another guy just standing there, like smiling, looking around. And you could tell that when our eyes met, we both had this kind of knowing, oh, we're the only two humans here. Everyone else is not being human. They're being consumers of media, but not the good media.
Yes.
And yeah, it's we're not built to consume so much media. We're not.
Yes, it's well. As the last sentence I want to share is when you said God will never give up on us. I thought it was a
Mhm.
really good summary of what you teach, basically.
It is. God will never give up on us. God will never stop sending love towards us. People that say they don't feel God's love, I look at them like they are putting a black umbrella over their head, because God's love is like the sunshine outside, and it shines for all of us constantly. But if we're always inside blocking that light, yes, it's going to feel like God doesn't love us. So go outside, go and feel the light of God, and understand that it's not going to come through necessarily an app or a website or a program. Go and discover God in other people's eyes, because that's where God is. God is inside of us, all of us. Yeah.
Perfect. So that was a really good interview. Thank you for your time, really. It
Yeah.
was my second podcast episode. I don't know if I'll do a lot more, but this one was really, really great for me.
Yeah.
I learned a lot of things even from me. If even if there was no one watching it, I would still enjoy it. So that's
There you go.
thank you again. And if people want to reach out to you, I'll put the link to your website, Instagram, and everything else.
Yeah, thanks, Anthony. Thank you. Thank you for following the call, man. I'm serious. Like, thank you for following the call. I know it hasn't been easy, but I also know that you've been resisting part of that
Yes.
call. And here's the funny thing about Spirit. Resist all you want, they're still going to push. They're only going to push harder and harder till you follow.
Oh, yes. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And
Yep.
my trick was to say, like, when I was really depressed and sad about it, I was saying, if I can just do one more video, I'll do it. And that's my own rule now. I
That's
cannot give
awesome.
up
Yeah.
as long as I can, and I have a little money and time to do another one.
Yeah.
I don't have the right to give up. So that's my own rule I follow. Basically, it's pretty simple.
Well, thank you for doing what you do. Truly, thank you for doing what you do.
I hope we'll do another one in the future.
Awesome.
Thank you
Sounds
again.
great, brother. Take care. Have a great
Thank you.
day. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.